It's July 18th, 2001, at Ceuse, France, and Chris Sharma, having climbed 35 metres up a perfect streak of blue limestone, finally climbs to the upper crux of the Biographie project and hits the jump. Becoming the first person in the world to climb a 9A+ route. If you've been a climber for any time, you probably know of Chris Sharma. From establishing some of the best lines in climbing, to hard deep water solos or his legendary power streams. Quick Google will tell you that along with Biographie, the world's first 9A+, he also climbed the world's first 9B jumbo laugh. But what if that wasn't true? First, let's rewind 11 years and join a dreadlocked Ben Moon at Raventall, a small limestone crag in the English Peak District. Here, on June 14th, 1990, after 9 days of work, he climbed Hubble, grading at 8C+, the first in the world. Though it is now much debated whether it's 8C+ or the world's first 9A. The following year, German powerhouse Wolfgang Drillich climbed Action Direct. Now considered 9A, he actually graded at 11 on the UIAA scale. As this was a new level, it wasn't instantly clear how this related to the French grades, 8C+ or 9A. In the following years, with the 8C+/9A grade barrier broken, more routes started going up. On by Alex Huber, Hugh by Fred Rouhling, Ban de San by the biggest forearms in climbing, Fred Nicole, Weiße Rose and Open Air, again from Huber, and Chi by Jonathan Fürst. That takes us through to 1996, but one hard route is missing from that list. After establishing Hugh in 1993, Fred Rouhling found, or created, but that's a rabbit hole not for today, another hard route, a hybrid boulder problem / route that initially climbs a horizontal roof just a few metres above the ground, which constitutes the majority of the difficulty, before a final short section on the road. Once climbed in 1995, Rouhling named the route Akira and gave it a previously unheard of grade of 9B. Skipping the 9A+ grade entirely, he was suggesting this unusual style of route was by far the hardest in the world. Sitting unrepeated for 25 years, rumours swirled. Had holds broken, been chipped or glued over after the ascent. Could this route really be so far above its contemporaries? In 2021, Seb Bouin repeated Rouhling's Hugh, confirming the 9A grade, and he and Lucien Martinez finally repeated Akira. They both agreed the route was worthy of 9A instead of B, but did shun the use of knee bars, which they said would be possible. In an Instagram post following this repeat, Rouhling stated, "It seems this path is definitely linked to my destiny and is falling apart, just like its inventor. So the starting boulder section would no longer be worth V13, but would now turn around V9 boulder, which would bring the overall difficulty down to 514D, 9A. While the 9B grade didn't hold, the confirmation of 2 9As plus his other ascents confirmed Rouhling's position as one of the 90s top sport climbers. So 9B had been proposed before Sharma's ascent to Biographie, but was he the first to suggest a 9A+? No, he wasn't. In 1995, after establishing Spain's first 8C and 8C+, Bernabé Fernández was looking for his next challenge. This came in the form of a complex 45-metre route that after an initial 35-metre AB+, tackles a tough final section. Talking about the route, Fernández says, "The length, and above all, the power of the last 10 metres made it seem almost inhuman to me, but not impossible in the future, so I made the decision to put 4 artificial holds in that last area, with the option of removing them later if I or anyone else was more prepared." He first climbed the route in 1996, naming it Orujo and grading it 9A. He climbed it again in 1998, with 3 of the 4 holds removed, and graded it the world's first 9A+. Now, over 25 years on, Orujo is yet to see a repeat, and seems to have almost been forgotten. I reached out to Bernabé on Instagram and asked him why he thought the route had gone unrepeated for so long. The difficulty of Orujo is concentrated in the last 10 metres, and this makes it not as attractive. Also, it has an artificial hold that gave it a very bad reputation. When Andre came, he stopped to the Archidomic cave and made 4 8C on-sites, and tried Orujo at the end of the day. Resolving all the movements, his comment was it seemed to him the hardest 9A+ he had passed. He would have been the perfect person at that moment to repeat it without any problem, if he had dedicated just a little more time. I think that today there are very many strong climbers who could repeat it. I would love for one of these climbers to come and spend a little time, do the first repetition and give their opinion. And on the route's controversial nature, he said, I equipped it in 1995 and put 4 artificial holds in the upper part with the intention of being able to remove them. In this way I tried to respect that the route could be natural in the future instead of chipping holes. In 1998 I saw myself stronger and looking for more difficult projects, and I thought it was time to return to the natural path. But it was not possible to remove the first. In order for it to be possible without that hold, the route deviated many meters to the right. In the end, it was not well regarded that I put artificial holds in 96, and it was not well seen when I removed holds in 98. This is curious because artificial holds are put up all over the world. Stones were stuck or grips were broken and there was no criticism. I think that in the end, they are stages in the evolution of climbing. So while the world's first proposed 9A+ is yet to see a repeat, other early 9As have had suggested upgrades. In the same year Bernabé suggested 9A+, Steve McClure climbed his brutally crimpy route Mutation at Raventall, just a few metres from Hubble. The first half of the route is Jerry Moffat's Evolution at AC+, followed by a brutally hard upper section.
You basically do pretty much all of Evolution to the last quick draw. And you've got a couple of difficult setup moves leading to what turned out to be the Red Point Crux, which is a really weird kind of throw-over move. You do this dynamic slap over move. Grab this pinch with your left hand, and then you've got a difficult hand change. Change hands, change to your right hand, clip. And you reach for this tiny, tiny edge, which it's not that bad. It's just a bit thin and a bit small. Long reach from that bad edge to another bad edge, and then the final move is a long pop for a small pocket. I think that's the most difficult move on the route, to be honest. You've really got to hit the hole just right, or you're out of there.
Again, this route waited over 20 years for a secular ascent, having fended off Chris Sharma, a few days of work from Alex Magos, and a serious effort from Ryan Pastoral. After 40 sessions over 4 years, Will Bosey finally repeated the route and suggested it must be at least 9A+, if not 9B, which will make it the first in the world. For Steve, the Tross move was the crux. The first time he stuck this from the ground, he climbed to the top. As he wrote in his diary at the time, straight through the Tross and straight to the top. Just crimp like never before. Just got it too, only just. That last move to the pocket, I was totally out of there. Complete lump that I only just held. So close. For Will, there was the following crimp moves that proved the most difficult.
Over like 2018, 2019, 2020, it's like every session I was basically sticking the rollover move and just falling off. There's essentially like 4 to 6 moves depending on your beta of this, like on the really small holds. And that section for me, when I first tried it, it took me multiple days to link. And I was thinking, it was like an 8B boulder problem, just that section. And like, having spent a lot more time, I mean, now when I warm up on that bit, it's like, feels more like a 7B boulder, So that bit I think is probably 8A.
7B for you or 7B for me?
7B for me. So I reckon if you do Evolution, which is 8C+, you then add in that crazy shoulder move sequence, and then you get to the boulder. So you're probably doing a 9A to that boulder.
Given this is still Bosis standard project, and he's had some of the best few years we've ever seen in climbing, specifically on this power endurance crimping style, it seems likely the Mutation will settle at consensus 9B. But we might be waiting a while to get enough repeats for a consensus to form. But Mutation wasn't the earliest route to have a suggested upgrade to 9A+. In 2008, Adam Ondra repeated Huber's Weiße Rose when he suggested 9A for Weiße Rose, first climbed in 94. Huber agreed, stating, "In 1995, Action Direct was given 8C+. This is why routes such as Weiße Rose had to be given 8C+. Nowadays, Action Direct is considered to be benchmark 9A, so Weiße Rose turned into 9A. But then, in a 2019 interview, Ondra stated, Weiße Rose, in today's standards, might be at least low-level 9A+. I have not upgraded Weiße Rose when I did it in 2008, but retrospectively thinking it is worth consideration." The route's third ascent came from Jakob Schubert, who, while not going into detail, gave it 9A.
Pumpy, big moves. And now, before you get into the crux, yeah, this pinch, it's really important to hold it well, and this is the crux move now. Really bad undercling and big slap to a really good ledge.
A conclusion Ondra agrees with in a Facebook post congratulating Schubert. So for now, I'm going to consider it as consensus 9A. After Weiße Rose, Ondra also repeated Huber's hardest sport route, open air. Touted as 9A when Huber first climbed it on December 6, 1966. When Ondra repeated it 12 years later, he thought it was the hardest route he'd climbed at the time, harder than any other 9A or 9A+ routes he'd climbed. Ondra breaks down the route as an initial 8A+ to a good rest, where he spent 30 minutes on the ascent. From here is a huge but judgy roof to reach a lip. To this point it's around 8B or 8B+. Then you're straight into the crux. 12 extremely hard moves, an 8A+ boulder problem in isolation. Open air is yet to see another ascent, but Ondra hasn't doubted his statement. If anything, he doubled down when he suggested the easier Weiße Rose could be harder than he first thought. In 2012, Ondra, with 56 routes of 9A or harder under his belt and ascents up to 9B, wrote a piece for Planet Mountain called The Routes I Cannot Climb. In it, he talks about Chi, another one of the early 8C+ or 9A routes established in 1996. The hardest route on this outstanding wall, Chi climbs the crux of Vadnis Orange, arguably the world's second 8C. After the first 10 metres of Vadnis and at least 8B+ climbing, you keep going straight upwards instead of outright. Those 10 metres pump you out. Everything is on bad crimps and slopers and the rests are poor. As you leave Vadnis, you get a poor rest and take a look at the heinous boulder problem above your head. Tiny, crimpy side pulls at their very best. I spent 5 days on this route and was in very good shape, as I was crushing all other 9As very fast, but failed, breaking a crucial foothold on the last day. Something may have broken soon after Stefan's ascent, but after my break, the route will surely not be less than hard 9A+. In any case, it is unrepeated. The route was a major long-term project for Fürst, taking him over 60 sessions.
Mehrfach am Tag probiert, also ich habe dann teilweise 5 Tage die Woche an dieser Route gearbeitet, morgens und abends, bis letztendlich dann der Durchstieg gelungen ist. Ja.
It wasn't a short process for Ondra either. 10 years after first trying it and having had 12 days on the route, Ondra finally made the second ascent, belayed by none other than Fürst himself. He still had no doubt about the grade, and about the broken holds he stated, "Honestly, I do not really think it has changed that much." The third ascent by Roland Hemmertsberger followed 45+ falls on the upper Fontete crux. So, 2 confirmed 9A+, both from 1996. But which was first? Huber climbed open air on December 6th, but nowhere Could I find a date of the first ascent of Chi? Was it in this brief period between December 6th and the end of that year? I tried reaching out to Stefan and Adam, but no luck, so I got to sleuthing. The 3 repeats of Chi took place in September, June and July, so most likely there's good conditions in these months. This suggests it's not a winter track, further evidenced by the 8a.nu page of the track. In the last 3 years, no one has recorded any ascents of routes here in December, with the last times any ascents were logged in the month being 3 in 2019. I checked Google Maps for the track. Interesting. And found hopefully accurate weather data of the nearby town. When talking about the successful ascent, Stefan says,
Der Durchstieg ist letztendlich gelungen, kurz vor einem schweren Gewitter. Es ist ein Sturm aufgezogen, es war Staub in der Luft und es war die ganze Luft halt energiegeladen. Ja. Und diese Situation habe ich genutzt und es war halt wirklich um Haaresbreite, um in diesen Riss reinzukommen und dann halt die letzten paar Meter rauszuklettern bis zum Stammplatz. Ja.
In December 1996, there were no significant storms. The temperature also averaged minus 3.1, certainly not ideal for sending 9A+. Much more likely days for the ascent will be May 8th, July 21st or 27th, September 12th, October 1st or November 13th at the latest, all days following a dry period before a large storm. So while I can't say for sure that Stefan's ascent didn't take place between December 6th and the end of the year, it seems highly unlikely. All of this means that Stefan Fürst, a relatively unknown Austrian, is most likely responsible for the world's first consensus 9A+ route, beating Sharma in his ascent of Biographie by 5 years. None of this is to take anything away from Sharma. While he may not have been the first to climb 9A+, or even 9B, his long list of achievements and the style he brought to the rock certainly made him one of climbing's best ever. From featuring in iconic films such as Rampage, Best of the West, and Kin Lines, to being the driving force behind the world's hardest sport climbs in the 2000s and 2010s, to having his own shoe, kind of. Sharma will always be a legend, but I hope some of the lesser known climbers, such as Fürst, get the credit they much deserve too. Thank you very much if you stuck around for that whole thing. It's my first time making a video like this, but I've got a long list of other ones I want to make. So if you're interested in that, subscribe, like, all that stuff. Also, check out Torn Edge. Couldn't say this was the video, but that I am Torn Edge. I make it, so you're just directly helping me. Fair enough if you don't want to, but it's nice stuff. And yeah, thank you very much.